Hello and welcome to Steve's Backyard Bonsai. Today I'm going to be planting up some seeds that I've been gathering in the neighborhood, in the parks, things that I've been doing all my life. I like to throw them in the ground or throw them in trays, see what comes up. I do this stuff for my own enjoyment. If it grows, it grows. If it doesn't grow, it doesn't grow. If I can turn it into a bonsai, I will. If I can give it away at a club meeting, I will. All right, let's get started. I'll give you a sneak peek into every aspect. I'll wait for that motorcycle to go by. All right, here I have some sequoia from a trip that I took some time ago to the West Coast. I don't have much hope for these. These have been sitting around for too long, and I'm sure the seeds are dried up and useless, but there is one tray that I'm going to have to keep in the greenhouse because it's more temperate trees, and I don't know if they'll winter well in this climate out on Long Island. So I'm just looking for the last remnants of seeds in these cones. You never know. I've heard of seeds sprouting from ancient Egypt, although I can't imagine that that's true, but they say it is. This has a few more seeds in it. Yeah, so these are some sequoias. I don't know what the right time to plant these are, and I'm sure fresh seeds have a better success rate than these will. Anything in here? Yeah, a couple of seeds. The structure of these is quite amazing. You really have to marvel at how adaptive plants are. And animals for that matter too. It does take a long time. All right, that's about all I'm going to get from this. Shove these all to one side. And I have this labeled Old Sequoia Seeds, if you can see that. All right. The next batch that I'm planting inside is lantana. These are those berries that grow on the lantana after they flower. And my theory is, if the plant designed them to fall onto the ground and rot or sprout, and that's what's going to happen, I might as well just see it to its natural endpoint. The next one I want to plant indoors is a seed. And when I say indoors, in the greenhouse, which I will keep just above freezing, hopefully targeting 40 degrees when it's 20 degrees. If it's in the high 30s, I'll be happy. So these are some, I believe I got these from an iris. But then again, I don't remember. And there are two different types of seeds in here, so who knows? It'll be a surprise. I do this all the time. All right. So the trays that I have are these mesh bottom trays. And I'm going to use a combination of old nursery soil, old garden soil, and old bonsai soil. Put a layer in here and plant the seeds up. Keep the labels near them. And I'll put them outside. Cover them with something to keep the squirrels out. Some stuff might fall through here. I'm not that concerned. There's some big pieces of bonsai soil in here that'll block up most of the holes. There's lots of stuff in here. Some moss. Yeah, good organic matter. I don't think there's any critters in here. But there sure are a lot of critters in nature. So that's why I think this could work. I will protect it from the squirrels. I will protect it from the chipmunks, hopefully. Anything that wants to tunnel in there, I'll just try and keep an eye on this over the winter. Okay, let me flatten this out. I cleaned my greenhouse, and I don't remember where I put anything. I cleaned half my greenhouse. Tomorrow, I'm going to clean the other half. Today, I'm doing this. Okay, so I got a nice loose base layer. I'm just going to press that in place. I'll roughly divide the surface into thirds. Put the seeds in, drop the label next to them, and put it outside for placement elsewhere in my yard. And we'll spend the winter there. You know, I don't do a lot of research. I do some. For instance, I collected what I thought were seeds from a blue Atlas cedar. Beautiful. Turned out to be the pollen cones because I'm saying these have no seeds in them. I don't have any experience with that. It was actually, they were actually quite full of pollen. So I'm hoping there's a female tree somewhere around. All right, how do I pick these up? That's going to be tricky. All right, well, you don't have to watch me do this. I'll come back with the next seed tray. I'm just going to sprinkle them in an area, put the marker near that so it doesn't, so I can monitor it, and that'll be that. All right, this first one's all planted. I'm going to water it by dipping it in a mixing tray, cement mixing tray full of water, and then carry it over to a side of my yard. No, I'm sorry. This one is going to be staying in the greenhouse. The other ones will be carried over, so I'll bring this one back in and then move on to the next. Okay, in the next tray, I'm going to put some catalpa seeds. I'm assuming, this is like a little sheet of paper, and there's something stiff in the middle here, and I'm assuming that that's the seed. So I'm just going to plant this whole thing and hope that I get some sprouting. I really don't know what I'm doing here, but I've seen others do it. I've seen others with successful catalpas grown from seed. I haven't actually seen the process. I guess I could find it somewhere. So catalpas first. The next one is going to be this little Ziploc bag with some, I wrote down pine trees from a local lake. But I think they might be spruce. I don't know. So some of the seeds are falling. There's only 2 cones here, and there's some seeds that still want to come out of the bag, or don't want to come out of the bag. It's all right, you probably won't sprout anyway. But I'll plant everything up, see if I can get any more out of this. And the way I've seen this done and the way I've done it before is you just pound away on it. Those seeds are in there. They're, yeah, they're in there. They're bound to come out. Some will be more stubborn than others. You're gonna have to like pick around a little bit to get them to come out. That's a good method too. This way you can shimmy them out. Oh, there's more in there. I'll get them all. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, some sort of spruce. I like the size of the cones, so I grabbed it. Actually, I don't remember. I mean, this might have been months ago. Don't expect to remember every one, but I do get some surprises. I've got a lot of trees that I've grown from seed, and it's mostly on these little gathering runs that I do. Hope I'm not in your way. All right, so I'll work on that to make sure I get them all. There's a pretty nice haul. And the next one I'll put in the same tray. Are some hemlock. And they look very similar. But there's one street over, there's well, it's 3 properties, but I think it must have been 1 at one time, because there are some very old hemlock trees on one side of the property and some very old hemlock trees on the other corner of the property, put it that way. And I'm sure they were planted. So they might have been outlining a person's estate at one time. But right now everything's subdivided. So here's the hemlocks from the seeds I collected while I'm walking Luca in the morning. Okay. So I'll go through these and pull out the seeds. I'll give you a close-up of this, just the way it is, so you can see the kind of the form of the seeds. Here the hemlock, and the seeds are winged, designed beautifully to fly as soon as the cones open. This is what I thought was a small pine, but I think it's a spruce, also with a similar wing design. And then these weird catalpa seeds. Anyway, everything in this pile is going to get planted, and we'll see what happens. I should have done this part before I started videoing. The things we do to try and get trees to grow. And I don't do as much as most. And you think you got them all, 2 or 3 more drop out. Now I'm going to go through this same process for burning bush, for some, I have written down nursery swipe. I pulled this out of some nursery plant that was flowering. It was done flowering. I have some tulip tree, some pine, and some black locust. And I'm going to plant them all up and see what comes up next year. I'll come back to you when it's all done. So here are 3 of the trays, 3 of the 4 that I planted. And I'll try and read everything that's on here. Burning bush, white pine, some mystery nursery seeds, hemlock, a pine or a spruce, and a catalpa, black locust, tulip tree, and dogwood. All in this, I call them cathedrals, that I made out of PVC pipe and wire cloth to keep the squirrels out. This is where it's going to winter. Luca promised me he would not mess with it. Right, Luca? Luca. Say hi to everyone. And I mentioned this in an earlier video. I poured a pad from my new composter. This one is made by Maze. It's a 65 gallon in 2 sections. This is the one where you add the fresh compost. This is the one where the compost matures, I guess. And the pad will keep me dry while I'm doing it. All right. Back to the greenhouse. And this one I'm going to keep in here. It has some mystery irises or something from Berkeley, a lantana, and some old sequoia seeds, and we'll see what sprouts. All right, what else can I show you? I wanted to show you the Thanksgiving cactus that I named Effigy after my niece's daughter. And it's got flower buds everywhere. So this is indeed a Thanksgiving cactus. I'm sure it will be in full bloom right around Thanksgiving. Some of them even have double blooms. It's really amazing. And the form is pretty cool. It's growing like a fan. I also have blooms on another Thanksgiving cactus. This one I haven't done any work to at all. My wife donated it to me because it's so damn ugly. And she thought I might be able to do something with it. And I think I will eventually, but I'm going to let it bloom now. This will also be in bloom at Thanksgiving. So I found these real cheap plastic training pots on Amazon. They're deep. They've got a lot of drainage holes. I drilled the holes in the hollow feet because that would be a place that water would pool, and I didn't want that to happen, so I drilled drainage holes in those. And I'm going to plant up some wisteria sections and see if I can get a raft going, or multiple rafts. It's probably the wrong time of year, but this wisteria grows like crazy, and I thought I'd give it a try now. I've got some used garden soil mixed with some used bonsai soil here, and I'm gonna put a layer in and see what happens. So I've got 2 very live sections of wisteria that I'm gonna place down in the dirt. I've taken a knife to the bottom of both, and I've scored through the cambium layer, I hope. and just gonna bury these up and see if anything happens. I'm sure with willow it would work, but this is just an experiment. If it doesn't work this time of year, I'll try it at a different time of year as well. All right, let me cover these up and move on to something else. Okay, that's it for today. I think planting those seeds was fun. I don't know what kind of results I'll get. I never know what kind of results I'll get, but at least I had fun doing it. And that little wisteria project, the raft, may work, may not work. Probably the wrong time of year, but who knows? All right, thank you for keeping me company in my backyard.